Hello everyone, welcome to the Lord of the Coins. We're going to be covering a macro outlook for Quant, a short-term outlook for Quant, and be covering all the key levels that we should be looking out for in the coming weeks to the coming months for this project. So in all my previous videos and pretty much any content I'm going to be making forward, going forward from here, I hope to convey all my underlying principles behind my strategy and theories. This is because, I think teaching traders and any aspiring traders out there the basis behind my approach is, that's my ultimate goal of this channel. So, I've been through many ups and downs in the markets, and, the trading journey has been pretty long. So I sincerely hope to make you guys more successful with my videos, and, I hope to teach you guys so you guys don't make the same mistakes that I've made throughout my journey. So with that said, let's get started. So when you're trading, you always want to have 3 different time frames you're trading on. So you want your higher time frame, which is usually I like to trade or use my higher time frame as a daily. This kind of gives me a macro outlook for what Quant is doing, which gives me also an idea for my trade. So then my trade will take place on, for example, the 4-hour. So this is usually the time frame I like to use to plan out my swing trades. Trades that'll last anywhere from like a couple days to like a month or 2. And I also use the 5-minute time frame as my execution time frame. I'll use this time frame to like really nail in my entries for for my trades. So always start on the daily here. We'll zoom out a bit, kind of get the bigger picture of what's going on with Quant. So Quant might seem like it's kind of going everywhere, but it's actually been behaving rather well. And this is what I mean by that. We actually have this macro range that's going on, where this is the range high, this is the range low, and then this is the range mid. So if we take the FRVP, which is just a tool to kind of track the volume, I'm going to check the volume of this range right here. And we're going to get our value area high, value area low, and then our point of control, which is this green line. The point of control is just where the most orders took place. And you can see that it actually lines up perfectly with the range here. So the point of control of the range right here is the exact same as the macro range. I think that is why also Quant has received a lot of resistance right here, or support. It's also right in the golden pocket if you take the fib from the bottom to the top here. So this is an area of high confluence, but yeah, we'll keep on analyzing this to really see what Quant can bring us in the near and kind of further out future. So, but something I do always advocate is that predicting markets is a way of losing in trading. You never want to really predict, that's, that comes to be like almost gambling at that point. So that's not something you want to be doing. So instead of predicting, I always advocate to read and react. This is why understanding price action has been kind of the topic that I've always been really adamant about, and I have a whole series on price action as well, if that's something you guys wanted to check out. So yeah, the reason you don't want to predict is because the markets are 100% not predictable. The only certainty in the market is that the markets are uncertain. So that's why I say read and react, and understanding price action, just kind of the way the market flows is the best way to trade, in my opinion. So yeah, with that, let's get started. We've just been in this macro range. So we're gonna try to see where Quant is heading. For now, it's caught on an area of confluence right here. There's a lot of buying pressure right here, so we can actually see a short-term movement up on Quant, and this is kind of what I'm expecting to see at the moment. But this doesn't really give me any entries for a trade. So in terms of the macro, I think overall we are headed for lower prices in kind of the further future, maybe in the next couple months or two, and that's these levels that I have drawn out right here. This daily order block right here. This daily order block is an area of very high amount of demand. So when I see price come down here, I think it would be a very good value zone to be purchasing quants or setting up any trades. The other reason for that is because it'll also be another deviation of the range, and as we have proof of one deviation of the range, if we get another deviation, the likelihood that we go back up to the middle or the top of the range is it's relatively high. So once price gets down here, we'll be watching how price action reacts, and if it reacts pretty well, I'll be looking for a long trade somewhere down here. But I'll go into more detail in that in a little bit. For now, I want to talk about the immediate term of what we're looking for Quant. So in terms of Quant, I'm going to get rid of this fib, and I'm going to draw a new fib right here. So when I look at Quant right here, since we have a confirmation of a breaker structure, if we kind of zoom in, so I'm going to go to the 1 hour here. So on the 1 hour, we do have our sweep. I denote the sweep by an X. The sweep is just a sweep of liquidity. If you see these candles right here, anyone who went long a little too early gets swept out by market makers. And then right here, let me get the trend line tool. I'm gonna make this a little bit wider actually. This high right here, I'm gonna denote this by Y. If this high gets broken, this is known as a broken base or a change of character. So once you have this, this is also a signal of reversal in the market as well. So in my opinion, I think we're likely to see short-term movement up. But of course things can change in the near term, but at this moment, because of the fact that we are in a macro value area low, the chance that we go up is, it's much higher than the chance that we go down. So I'm here to just kind of give you guys probabilities, not exactly what's going to happen. Like I said, predicting the markets is not something you want to do. You just want to read and react. So if I were to give you guys probabilities, I think the probability of us, getting a little bit of relief from this is higher than the chance that we go down. So if we do go up, what are we looking at? And that's pretty much what we'll be covering, and possibly a short trade down into this area where we'll take a long. So we are in this 0.5 to 0.618 zone. All the way to this 0.786 zone is good areas to be looking for a reversal. So as for other confluences, I do see some zones of supply here. So this would be known as a bearish order block on the daily. And since it's bearish, I am going to mark this red. And then I'll label this daily OB for daily order block. So I would be looking in this area for a possible reversal. But the only thing that does concern me is that there are many relatively equal highs here. And if you know anything about the way I trade and the way the markets move, relatively equal highs and relatively equal lows, they more often than not, they get swept. So that is the only thing I'd really be looking out for. The other zone, or other key level I'd be looking out for is this order block right here. But this is rather a larger order block, so you can actually go on a lower time frame to see exactly what we're looking at here. So in this case, I'd probably look at this candle right here, this candle body on this white one as a possible order block. Another reason I believe this might be kind of likely, just looking at this right now, is that we would have swept these relatively equal highs, these relatively equal highs, and these relatively equal highs. There are two relatively equal highs right here also to be swept. So if you wanted to be extra safe, You can possibly go on to a even lower time frame like the 1 hour, really fine tune your order block. And if you do so, you can take this very last candle here and set this as your order block as well. The only reason I'm a little hesitant of this is because it's literally at the very top of our range again, you know. So I'd be a little hesitant, but it's definitely possible. And you know, for price action to go up and create almost like a, you know, like a retail, if in terms of retail pattern, this would be like a double top. That's very possible as well. But yeah, these are, I guess, the 3 zones of supply or bearish order blocks. Whoops, I think I deleted too much here. Let me get rid of these circles. These are the zones that I'd be looking for in terms of reversal, but we'll look for the most confluent one. So one of my favorite indicators to use, and one that's been the most reliable for me, is the VWAP. If you look at this, since we're kind of trading on, or we're looking at kind of a macro scale, you want to set the VWAP to a higher time frame. So right now we have it on the year, and you can see that on the year, this is the deviation band, and the deviation band kind of lines up with this daily order block on top of being near the 0.5 fib. And the 0.5 fib is a pretty, you know, confluent area for a price to retrace to as well. It's not as deep as the golden pocket or the 0.786, but it is not bad as well. So this is kind of an area that I'd also be looking for. If you look for any POCs, we can see actually that we have a lot of POCs right here. I know it might be a little bit difficult to see with this indicator, but we have the previous week POC, the weekly open, and the previous week value area high. This indicator alone, if you guys don't know, actually don't know the exact name of this one. The name of this is actually in my Discord, so if you guys wanted to check that out, definitely go to the Discord to check that out. But yeah, we have a lot of confluence in this area. So let me get rid of this. So for me personally, I would be more convinced that we see reversal here rather than this zone or this zone. Especially with the macro conditions of the market right now, I think, you know, only a short-term relief into more down is more likely. So to cover the initial topic of the macro, this is my macro outlook, is that we'll actually see a lot more downside than upside. And for the short term, I believe that we can possibly see a retrace to around like a $162 quant, somewhere in that area, before we see a reversal in the market. And once we get that, I will be looking for a long. And I guess zones of interest for me for going long is pretty much only this daily order block right here. So we're on the daily chart, and order blocks can be up to 4 candles. So I would take these 4 candles before this large up move up and make this my zone of demand. So in this zone of demand, there's just probably a lot of orders to be filled here, you know, very simply put. So let me actually get rid of this VWAP real quick. So since this is the case, and if I take the fib from the bottom to the top again, yeah, this would be an extremely deep retrace, which, you know, gives us more confidence to reversal from this area. On top of that, if you look at the macro outlook, that, you know, we are in this macro range, this would also be another deviation. And if history has, you know, any influence on price action, once we get deviations of the range, the chance that we go back into the range mid or the value area high of the range is extremely high. So with that said, in terms of a longer term outlook, this is the exact area that I would be looking to snipe an entry. So pretty much how I would use a execution time frame is that I would go down to the 5-minute, right? And if you guys follow my channel at all, you guys know that I like to find my entries on confirmations of bullish order flow or bearish order flow. By that, I mean this. So we'll have a candle that goes down, and then we'll have our sweep. this is the sweep that I denote with an X. This is for anyone who went long a little too early. This is where the market makers sweep out your liquidity and take all your money from your stop losses. Then, I look for something called the broken base or a change of character. This is where we have this line, the lowest, in this case, the lowest high that swept the previous low. I denote that by Y. This low needs to get closed by a candle. Once this candle gets closed, we have generated a zone of demand. The zone of demand will look like this. Once we have the zone of demand, more often than not, I would say a solid 80 to 90% of the time, price will retrace back into the zone of demand before going back up. This is what I call a confirmation, and this is where I take my entry. And this is what I do on either the 5 or 15 minutes. Usually on the 5 if I want to really nail an entry, but a 15-minute works, just as well. So this is what I would look like, and if we were to like kind of zoom in this as like a picture, this is kind of what it would look like on. So this would be like the 5 minutes inside this circle, and this is what the daily would look like. So I would really nail my entry, like, actually that circle's too big. My entry would be like right here. This is what it would look like if we like zoomed up. So let me get rid of this. Actually, I'll leave this here. So the other reason that I'm also pretty confident that price will retrace back here is, on the other note that I said relatively equal lows get swept alongside relatively equal highs. I just see so many relatively equal lows here. Usually when relatively equal lows get swept, you see a little reversal in the market too. So I think since we have relatively equal lows right here, actually, let me mark these with a highlighter so you guys can see them a little better. We have relatively equal lows right here, right here, right here, right here, and right here. So we have like 5 sets of relatively equal lows. That's a lot. So, and every time relatively equal lows get swept, we see a little reversal in the market. So I can see kind of a lot of chop in the market going down, which is good. In my opinion, I think that's good. If we see a lot of chop like this, the chance that we see like a clean reversal is a lot higher. So it'll make our entry into this trade a lot better. So in terms of a macro outlook on Quant, I think we're going to see a lot of chop going down. In terms of short-term outlook on Quant, I think we'll see, we'll definitely see a little bit of chop going up and some up move and possibly a reversal in this area. We can go over a lot of other key metrics, but this is just kind of the basics of how I initially look at charts. And as price action develops, I'll use a lot more tools and concepts to really nail in my entry and gather a lot more confidences to the trade. But to do that, I need price action to develop a little bit more. That's why I believe reading and reacting is the best way and the most consistent and most accurate way to make the trade. For example, just say I was looking at this area right now, but in a couple days, price is like just ranging right here or something, I would kind of consider my options and maybe say that since price action is just ranging, we might actually not even see this. We might see just a little sweep of the range and go down. This is also known as a Judas swing. And that's a topic I can cover later. But this is why, you just never really want to predict, but just have your key levels drawn and, read and react to the market, and price ever gets to your area of interest, you know exactly what to do. And, just say you're reading and reacting, price is actually kind of doing this and it's kind of going to your zone. The moment it hits your zone, you'll be looking at your charts or you have limits set and you have a really good idea of what's going to go on. And if what you think happens, then good. Your theory was correct. If price keeps on going up, read and react. You have another key level that you're looking at. this is the best way, in my opinion, to trade the markets, as this keeps you, you know, it just keeps you the most accurate, just because you have more price action to kind of judge your trade off of. So yeah, I hope you guys found this video helpful. Just to recap, I know I feel like I've said this a lot, but I don't mind recapping it. So short term, I think we'll see some up move, and long term, you know, TLDR, long term, I think we'll clear a lot of this liquidity down here, and we'll see some reversals once we deviate from this range again. So yeah, if you guys enjoy this content, make sure to like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below if you guys have any questions, or if you guys are confused about anything. You know, I'll answer every single comment. If you guys want to get to me a little bit faster, you guys can join the Discord and ask me any questions there. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys next time.